Alarm, alarm, alarm. We got an emergency podcast here at Hot Trades of the Day. Gold is about to break out to the upside. Surprise move, but it's happening. We're talking about it. Today, I'll show you in the charts what's happening because you can't see it yet in the regular chart structures that most people are looking at. I'll also give you my target for this next rally move of gold, and that one will knock your socks off. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. Ladies and gentlemen, for months I've been telling you gold is consolidate, all is good in the world. That's exactly what happened. But when things change, we need to change. What we saw today is a massive buy signal in gold. Now, you look at this chart. This is a chart that I've shown you for a while, and you'll say, well, Helmy, you're drunk on that German beer. What's going on? There's no buy signal. We just hit the upper resistance zone of the sideways channel. True. That is still intact. But there's a layer below the sideways channel that nobody talked about and that I just realized as well. Check back with the history of gold and you will be wowed what you will see now. All right, let's get into it. So this is the sideways channel that you're familiar with, right? But if we draw this in right here, then you see that we have a downtrend, nothing new. We have this uptrend, which was confirmed last week, as you remember, told you about it. And now we have broken this triangle formation. Now we're not out of the woods yet, right? In order to fully trigger the new gold buy signal, we have to break this resistance zone. But, and here's the big but, well, everybody's going to be waiting for the break of the blue resistance zone. The break of the downtrend and the breakout of the triangle formation is the real signal to get in on gold. That way we can easily make up probably, like $30 to $50 in the gold price that we get in earlier. So any weakness, any retest of the downtrend, or if we go stronger, either one, be prepared to open up your swing long trading positions. Now, what am I talking about? Let's go back since the breakout of above 2000, right? The start of the new bull market, because everything before that was in the bear market, in the bottoming phase. That's a different phase. So we can only really judge everything as far as the history is concerned, going back to 2024. But if we go back to 2024 on the daily, you see that we had a very similar formation twice, right? We have the uptrend channel and we had downtrends. We had the horizontal resistance zones. We broke the downtrends here and here, and those were the true signals that the next rally was starting, right? That's when we wanted to get in. We never went lower again. As you can see, we tested back the lower end of the uptrend channel, right? But we never went lower than this area right here when we broke out. Same here. You could have waited until you confirmed the breakout, which would have been here. But as you can see, that is significantly higher what you would have lost. Same here. Now, these two historical breakouts are a little different than the situation that we have today, which is normal. It's never 100% identical, obviously, right? Because these happened at the lower end of the uptrend channel, which gave us a fantastic risk-reward ratio. Here, we're at the all-time highs. But we also have a different, completely different situation in the gold market now, as far as sentiment is concerned, as far as who is buying, right? The trend following. I told you institutional investors, they invest with trend following models. So if we close above this resistance zone, it'll be buy, 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 buy. Gold long, gold long, gold long, especially if the equity markets are struggling. Then the institutional money is going to look for solid uptrends to put their money, and that will be gold. Now, again, if you want to be on the safer side, you wait till we break this upper resistance zone, which now, in my opinion, is only a question of time. If you're a more risky investor, you might get in right now, because we have broken this downtrend on the close, right? And that is excellent. And again, it's not important that we haven't made a new high on the close yet, right? And it's minimal, as you can see here, right? Because we didn't have that here as well, right? We were way below these two highs right here when we broke the downtrend. We were way below this down this year. This is a fake breakout anyway, right? When we broke this downtrend. So that does not bother me. What I like is we see the same structure, right? And we saw what happened. Now, where does this get us? What is the target for gold now? If we look at it from the breakout to the high on this rally phase, gold went up about 20%. Now, on this breakout right here, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so to make sure that you see this. Here we go. To the highs is around 30%, right? Which makes sense because we had the euphoria right here. So what does that mean? If we assume, and it's realistic to assume, that the next phase of the bull market, the gold bull market, will probably be even more euphoric than the one that we saw in the beginning of 2025 all the way up to April, then we'll probably talk about something like a 30% upside. But let's be reasonable and go with 20% to 25%. Based on where we are now, this would get us somewhere between $4,100 and $4,300 on gold in this next leg up. Why? Well, we'll just take the breakout and we'll go up. And as you can see, when we make it all the way up to 25, here we're somewhere like 4,275. Right? If we go down to 20% from the breakout, we're right about 4,100. So this is our price target based on the history. Incredible. Makes complete sense too, right? We break over 3,500. The next big round number is 4,000. We're going to overshoot to the upside for sure, because that's just how the markets are wired and how the speculative money is acting right now. And that makes sense that it gets us right there to 4,200. Wow, big developments in the gold market. If you want to put out new swing trades long on gold, you got to be ready. Have your orders ready, either on the breakout on the close, right? Or small correction retest of the break of the downtrend, that would make complete sense, right? What I could also see happening would be very Wall Streety, which would be a pullback, undercut the downtrend to trigger all the stops and make the people feel like, oh no, we're still in the sideways range, and then we rip, right? The problem is that the institutions have basically lost control over the gold market with all the central banks buying. So this is a big development that we're seeing right now in the gold market. We're seeing big strength. We're seeing an outperformance towards silver today. We've seen this before. This usually happens when the gold price gets ready to rip to the upside. Oh, and palladium is breaking out. And before I forget, if you like this content, please hit the subscribe button. Takes you 1 second. Leave a like. Helps us out a lot. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.